Look inside the global artificial intelligence race, and you will see infrastructure running red hot. We are currently witnessing an explosion of physical hardware and energy consumption that requires an immense amount of capital. American hyperscalers will pour $1.01 trillion into AI infrastructure by 2027. Meanwhile, China projects a constrained spend of just $123 billion. This 8-to-1 brute force spending supposedly secures an insurmountable monopoly. The assumption, you simply cannot compete with a trillion-dollar machine. But viewing this from a strict strategic perspective, that massive expenditure is a severe vulnerability. The United States is effectively buying time and market share. Pouring $1 trillion into server farms creates a scenario that demands immediate, massive financial returns to remain solvent. China is not trying to match that spending dollar for dollar. They are applying an asymmetric approach. Facing hard resource limitations, their ecosystem is optimizing for extreme capital efficiency and long-term survival, rather than rapid, sprawling expansion. That trillion-dollar gap is a stress test. If the rapid returns do not materialize, the American hyperscalers face a structural financial crisis. China's lean model, running on much lower capital requirements, remains heavily insulated from a potential market crash. Severe resource constraints often act as a disciplining force. In software development, this breeds a strict engineering culture, where the primary goal is extracting maximum intelligence from a minimum amount of energy. You see the results of this discipline in the latest artificial analysis benchmarks. Chinese models like Qwen, DeepSeek, and GLM 5.2 consistently hold positions in the global top 10 for completing complex, real-world tasks. This scatterplot compares performance against cost. GPM's GLM 5.2 exactly matches leading Western equivalents, but is 7.5 times cheaper. The mechanism driving this is token efficiency. To output the exact same code, these models require drastically fewer tokens, lowering the computational burden. Lower development costs here do not yield inferior software. They indicate a system that has figured out how to generate top-tier logic without relying on brute force processing power. China achieves this efficiency through a specific three-pronged strategy. The first pillar is the open weight approach. By leaning into rapid, community-driven development, they bypass the need to spend billions of dollars on closed R&D. The second pillar is strict pragmatism. Instead of chasing theoretical, abstract general intelligence, development is focused tightly on practical, immediate commercial applications, like automated coding and agentic reasoning. The third pillar is vertical integration. This flowchart shows open-weight models, cloud infrastructure, and API services tightly bound together. Usage feeds data back into the models, capturing value in one continuous loop. The financial target is consistently hitting 30 to 40% profit margins. By combining community R&D, focused commercial utility, and tight vertical integration, they turn artificial intelligence from a massive, high-risk cost center into a sustainable revenue machine. But software and finance are only part of the equation. The artificial intelligence industry is entirely dependent on one physical constraint, the silicon microchip. The American strategy relies heavily on the thesis that accumulating more raw compute power will indefinitely yield better artificial intelligence. That requires a continuous, uninterrupted flow of top-tier hardware. That flow has a severe geographic bottleneck. The trillion-dollar U.S. infrastructure rests on a single point of failure in the global supply chain, the TSMC fabrication plants in Taiwan. China, facing strict Western hardware sanctions, was forced to adopt a different approach. They implemented what amounts to a fortress doctrine, a forced march toward complete long-term autonomy. They achieve this through hardware symbiosis. Engineers custom design internal ASIC microchips, specifically optimized to accommodate the unique constraints of their proprietary software models. This tight integration between custom hardware and efficient software deliberately excises dependence on Western technology and global supply chains. In industrial conflicts, victory rarely goes to the side that simply spends the most money in peacetime. It goes to the self-contained ecosystem that can maintain operations when global supply chains inevitably break. In the long run, efficiency outlasts waste.